All right, so let's go ahead and review this quiz prep, I guess you could say. Let me zoom in good here on the board so you guys can see the question. Now, those of you who are struggling, you shouldn't be struggling, but it is what it is. It says there, what is the z-score associated with a cumulative area of 0.4404, sketch area and z-score? Now, cumulative area stands for an area to the left. Remember that. Every time you see cumulative, it means, think of it like as you start shading from left to right, it's accumulating area. So the first thing you would do is you will obviously sketch the situation. Let's do it in, there was all, I'll do it in purple. All right, so we sketch it, right? And where more or less would you put the Z line, the Z? Would you put it here in the middle? No, because that in the middle would be 0.50. So like maybe somewhere around here, would that make sense? All right, so I'll do that. Let's erase this part here. It would be slightly before the middle. And then you go ahead and shade this area here. And I would indicate with an arrow that the area is 0.4404. Now your table always reads to the left. So all you gotta do here is just go to your table and look up 0.4404. Obviously, it has to be a negative z-score because the middle is 0. So we look that up, 0.4404, that's negative 0.15. Agreed? Negative 0.15. And there it is. You're done. Literally takes 15 seconds, 20 seconds to do the question. Any questions or concerns? Okay, so now let's go to the next part. So question number 2. What is the z-score associated with an area to the right of 0.1131? I'll go ahead and put it here. What is the z-score associated with an area to the right of 0.1131? So once again, we begin with a sketch of a normal distribution. In this case, it would be a standard normal distribution because we're dealing with z's. And now you have to sketch to the right. So if you think about it, would this make sense to depict that situation like that? Would that be 0.11 of the area? No, it's too big. It's way bigger than 0.50. Obviously, you would not do it in the middle either, because if you did this, this will be 0.50. So you know that 0.11 to the right has to be like somewhere over here in this tail. So you would depict that situation appropriately, right? And then that's the first thing you would do. And so we're trying to find a z. Now you have a few choices to make here. So most obvious and easiest choice to make is you would go ahead and figure out the area over here, right? Yes, you would have to subtract. You'd have to take 1 minus 0.1131, which comes out to what? 0.8869. So now you know the area to the left is 0.8869. You come to your positive z-score table, and it's 1.21, correct? So now you could go ahead and take this off and put 1.21. Now, what was interesting is if you take a look at negative 1.21 on the opposite side, you're going to notice that negative 1.21 was 0.1131. So you could have taken that shortcut if you would have liked and just made it positive. It's up to you. Any questions or concerns? Let me make this arrow. Yes? Question? Let me just make a nice arrow here. Oh, that's really bad. It's a bad arrow. All right, we're on the next question once I get this arrow straight or semi-straight. Oh, come on, computer. All right, there you go. Questions or concerns? All right, so let's proceed. Let's do number 3. And notice how quick it is to do these questions. There's no need for a ridiculous amount of time. So this is probably the hardest question of the test. It's number 3. It says, what are the z-scores associated with a symmetrical area between that is 0.50? So what I'm trying to say there is, hey, look, so here's the middle. Both these sides are the same, right? So that means you have 0.25 here and 0.25 here. It's not that important. But what do you know is going to be left over here? What would be this area here? 0.25. And what would be this area here? 0.25. So here's what we do. We say to ourselves, okay, if I found this guy, then I've just found this guy. So then what you do is you figure out this. This is the easiest one to figure out. You figure this part out. That's what you need to figure out. Figure this out. Because your table reads to the left. I mean, some of you would say, you know, that doesn't make sense, but it's really easy. So now all you look for is 0.250, not 0.0250, but 250. And what happens is you gotta choose between negative 0.68. So if you look at negative 0.68, it's gonna be 67. Yes. So let me show you why that's the case. I just keep on losing where I'm at. Okay, so this is 0.2483. That's pretty close. And negative 0.67, it gives you 0.2514. If you notice something, the closest one there actually is this one. This is 0.0014 away, while the other one's 0.0017 away. So what we say is these two z-scores here, they got to come out to negative 0.67 and positive 0.67. No, it's not, because 0.2500 is not exactly in between 0.2483. If you couldn't decide which one was closer, then you pick the closest one. I know that sounds weird because obviously 0.675 will be a better and more accurate representation. But let's just say if we can't make our minds between who's closer because they're both equally close, then we go ahead and do the 0.675. Dude, exactly. One is slightly closer. If we can make up our minds which is closer, we pick the closest one. Fair enough? All right, let's go to the next one, number 4, and we're almost done. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I have Chantel Ledesma come to the main office for a moment, please?
She's absent still.
She's absent? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Yes.
Would it be like drawn like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta draw this for you. Yeah, I can't. I gotta draw this. I gotta give you the situation because it's not no good. So here's the same thing as the previous one. All right, let me close my door. Asking us to not close the door. Okay, so 0.15. So this is like the other one. This is actually giving it away easily. It's just you find the area. You always look for the area to the left because that's the one you can find easily. So 0.1500. If we look at it, there's 2 of them that are close. We got. Let me go ahead and do this in purple. We got a z-score of negative 1.05. That 1.04, sorry, gives 0.1492. And then we got negative 1.03. And that gives 0.1515. Now, who's closer there? 2.1500. Yeah, this guy. This guy is the closest one. Closest. So then all you do is, well, this is negative 1.04. And then therefore the other side has to also be, and let me just make negative here. It'd just be 1.04 positive. And then you're done. Yeah, there's nothing else to do. That's it. I mean, there's no other, I can't make this difficult. It isn't difficult. It just isn't. Any questions or concerns? And then the last one, let's go ahead and scroll up here. Okay. So let's begin and draw. If you have a distribution with a mean of 70, a standard deviation of 5, obviously we have to assume it's normally distributed, so I should have made that the case. What score represents the 70th percentile? So I should write here, assume normality. So all you do is you first draw it out with a mean of 70 and a sigma of 5. And now you got to figure out the 70th percentile, what that is. Now, let me just go ahead and just kind of like for instance, here in the middle, like this we'll consider the 50th percentile. And we use P's of 50 like that for it. All right. Like the 10th percentile will look something like this. 10th percentile. All right. So how do you think the 70th percentile is going to look? It's going to be a little bit to the right of the middle. Yeah, something like, would this be okay? Something like that? No. Obviously, you wouldn't put it over here. That's dumb, you know? And then the percentile is cumulative area. So you go like this. And then you indicate to the audience that this area is 0.7000. So now you look up the z-scores associated with that because we want to find x. We want to find x, but let's associate a z-score for it. Let me scroll that up a little bit. So let's see. When we look at 0.7000, okay, we got two of them. We got either 0.52 or 0.53. Or 0.53. Now with 0.52 is 0.6985. And 0.53, it's 0.7019. Which one is closer to 0.7? 0.52. So this one's closer. Now that means that the z-score of 0.52 represents that same area there. So that same area, these two areas have to be the same. So now we don't want the areas, we want the x. So what should we apply? The formula is now x equals mu plus z sigma. That's how we'll convert the z-score to an x.
So let's apply it.
It's x equals mu plus z sigma, which is going to be 70 plus 0.52 times, what's the standard deviation? 5. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So the Explorer operation requested. Okay, we got, can't see the numbers, 0.52 times 5, and then add 70. So that's 72.6. So equals 72.6. And our answer here is obviously there. And that's it for this. That's all we got. And that's your quiz. Is that hard? I think it's a really fair quiz. All right, so let me go ahead and stop the share. And let's go ahead and end this meeting. And now I got a video.